All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Talk to Me. Yay! My name is Christopher Toussaint. I have a degree in psychology from the State University of New York, and I will be your host today and every day going forward. Yeah. So this show is all about you guys, your life, your advice, anything you need. If you have a problem that you just can't solve or need advice on anything from the most tame to the most outrageous, send us an email, talktomevibe@gmail.com, and we will get help to you right away. So, without further ado, let's start reading the first story. So, the first person sends in, made the mistake of sleeping with a guy too soon. Jeez. All right, let's see what this one is all about.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Read that. What is that about? What are you talking about?
Made the
What's going on?
mistake of sleeping with a guy too soon.
Mes amis?
Yeah. I can already tell you this is probably either not an issue or really an issue. We'll see what happens. Usually with relationships, sex and sleeping with people is like a whole nother ball game, but then it's also a problem because it relates to the romantic aspect of people's relationships. So we'll see which one this falls more
I
towards.
can't wait to hear this one.
Right?
I got to hear this one.
I can even bet you that the problem here probably doesn't even have anything to do with actual sex.
Okay.
But here we go. Went on a second date with a guy from my gym. We've seen each other a few times at the gym, but nothing came of it till we matched on a dating app. We got talking. He was super respectful, booked dates promptly, asked me out and followed through, made the biggest mistake of going back to his after a few drinks and did the deed a few times afterwards. Okay, a few times crazy, but I mean, to each their own. I would never do this. Well, girl, you just did, but anyways. But I have been celibate for a while. Okay.
Okay.
Just wanted to have sex when it was right, and it just felt right, and I got swept up in the moment. I had a great night. I really did. But I just don't know if now that I've done it, he's lost all respect for me because he brought up sex mid-convo today and said,
What did he say?
"Are we? Can I get X-rated on here?"
What did he say? What did he say?
Said,
What did he say?
and said, "Yeah, you'll want to ride my dick again soon," or words to that effect.
Oh. What? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I see the issue now.
So wait, let me make sure I understand what's going on here. So
Yeah.
so she met some dude at the gym.
Yeah.
They did the do.
Yes.
And then what did he say? What was that?
He basically said, "Yeah, I know you're gonna want it again,"
Oh.
which is crazy. However,
Oh.
if this dude has been respectful this whole time and now he's getting crazy with his language, I don't know. Maybe he was just making a joke. But even then, it's like, okay, very poor taste. Very poor taste.
That's kind of,
that's
really very, very crude. Very crude.
For someone you've been on 1 or 2 dates with, like, relax.
Okay, so she just went on 1 or 2 dates with this guy, and all of a sudden he's getting really raunchy
exactly
with her. All right.
Okay.
Hmm.
So there's more. So I snapped and said, if you want to see me and get to know me, that's absolutely fine. And if sex happens again, fine. But absolutely no way am I being picked up and dropped for sex. If that's not something you're interested in, then fair enough. You just got to say the word and I'll respect that. It annoyed me because he was super gentlemanly and booking things and seemed keen to be respectful. But that one comment he made about the sex and it being a fun night made me think, here we go again. I don't know what to do. I feel so sad and anxious, like I've lost all self respect. I just did what felt good at the time. I can't help but think if I didn't, then maybe he might have been different with me. Help.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Wow. But she said that she says, here we go again,
Yep.
which means that she's been through this before.
It's honestly, it's already sounding
Mhm.
like y'all, I'm sure y'all know the eternal cycle. Dating apps, hookups, whatever, whatever. And then here we go
So
again.
she just felt the need, and then she hooked up with this guy, and now she's having second
Exactly.
thoughts. But what are your thoughts? What is your advice, Mr. Toussaint? What is your advice?
Well, I have one of two things that I would say here. The first of which being, um, maybe she either needs to think about her intentions going into this, or that she's already done everything she needs to do. Because going into the intentions aspect, if she's saying that she's trying to do what feels right and doing what feels right in the moment, but then also saying that doing those things makes her feel like she's losing all self respect, then girl, does it really feel right? Like,
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
like when I go into the kitchen and I see, and I'm like, I'm hungry, I want to eat dinner. I can either eat a salad or I can have a slice of the cake that's in the fridge. But I know that that cake has dairy in it and I'm lactose intolerant and I've already eaten cake today and I shouldn't eat the cake. If I still eat the cake anyways, then okay, maybe we need to have a talk about self control. Because obviously, like you wanted to hook up with this guy. It felt right. It felt good in the moment. So maybe a hookup is what you wanted. Um,
Some people have like shameless hookups, like they hook up and they don't,
yeah,
it just doesn't matter.
exactly.
But
That's
but
just it.
but obviously, it sounds like maybe she felt some kind of way about him or
Exactly.
something,
Either
because
she
otherwise,
really wanted a connection with this guy and
yeah.
wanted to go on a date with him more and really establish a romantic connection with him, which is fine. That's amazing. And clearly, if this guy doesn't want that and just wanted a hookup, well, move on, and
Go
that's the
go about
case.
your go about your
Exactly.
business.
Because if you were really like, I don't know, maybe attracted isn't the right word. Because clearly she's attracted to him. She
Right.
hooked up with him. But if the sex was really a non-issue, then the loss of all self-respect wouldn't have been a thing. And I kind of want to touch on that a little more because is that speaks to an issue that goes farther than just I want to establish emotional connection with this man. There is really, if you have confidence in yourself and in your own relationships and in your own body, there is no place, time, or situation on earth that hooking up with somebody is going to make you think, well, I just lost all self respect for me and whatever, whatever, whatever. Because in every sense of the word, you are not the problem. You
So
went on a date with a man. You both, as conscious adults, made the decision to hook up, even if it was the first date, even if it was the second date. That decision shouldn't make you lose all
so are
self-respect
you
for
saying like
yourself.
a hookup like that could never be the end of the world?
Exactly.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
it's just never that serious.
Okay.
Like again, even if it's like, oh well, I have to see this
And how
guy
about if
and
it
I'm gonna
happens over and over and over again? Like this, I guess this person is alluding
then
to,
end
you
of the
know,
world isn't the word, girl. That's the beginning.
uh,
That's a different story. Like again, if you want friends with benefits, then just say that. If you don't, then just say
a
that.
lot of people want friends with well, not a lot of people, but
Yeah.
many people
It's
don't mind
situationships
friends with
are
benefits.
everything these days.
Situationships, that's what they call
Yeah.
them. Okay.
Which
Friends with benefits.
which situationships is a whole different
I
can of worms.
understand.
Oh my God.
I
Understand.
understand.
Let me tell y'all, to the people who know me, a situationship is the bane of my existence. I
Really?
hate, absolutely not. Nope.
Really?
Say you want me or get out the door. Not, nope.
Let me shut up because I've been in a lot of situationships. So see ya.
Absolutely not. I'm biggest situationship Hater, don't. My advice to you: if anybody sends in anything saying, by the way, once again, to all of those new or just tuning in, if you want to send in an email, a letter, anything, you can send it to talktomevibe@gmail.com. But if you're gonna send in anything about a situationship, just know my answer will always be no.
But at the same time,
At the same time,
at the
no,
same time,
no.
Mr. Toussaint,
And with that,
people are different. People are different. So a situationship might be good for person A and might be a terrible idea for person B. Do you agree,
well,
or am
but think
I
about it.
completely out there?
But think about it like this:
Mhm.
if you're in a relationship with someone, and in that relationship, one person is fine and doing great and doing amazing, and the other person is suffering
Yeah.
horrifically, that's not really a
That's not
relationship that
good.
you want to be in.
Then
Exactly.
that's an unbalanced, I guess,
That's not a
relationship, right?
relationship. That's just taking
Yeah.
advantage of
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah. I
Honestly.
get it.
Yeah, so I am always the biggest advocate for leaving situationships because in a situationship, it's not really a relationship if one person has to lose.
Right. So if one person has to lose, you're saying it's not good. But if both people are down,
Yeah, then that's fine.
then they're both satisfied, then it's okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
You just have to make sure that you know the situation and what you're getting out of
I
it.
understand.
If you're getting what you want out of a situation, then your responsibility is to make sure that your partner is also getting what they want out of that situation.
Got it. Got it.
All right, and with that, I think it is time for our first commercial break.
Okie dokie.
Need a daycare that fits your schedule?
Oh, you mean 911 daycare?
Yes, I never have to beg relatives for babysitting anymore. 911 Daycare is open 24/7.
That's right. At 911 Daycare, you control your own hours. Day shift, night shift, no problem.
And the location couldn't be more convenient. Right in East Flatbush in the heart of Lelo, Haiti.
Plus, 911 Daycare accepts all vouchers. Have a government voucher? You get 911 Daycare.
What? All vouchers? Qui fa qui vaut cher?
Voucher, c'est le gouvernement paye pour petit ou al nan daycare. De pour qualifier, y a payé pour. My kids love it there. You accepte ti moun de 0 jusqu'à 12 ans d'âge.
Yep. Kids from 0 to 12 years old. For a daycare that's always there for you, call 718-513-0411 or text 516-717-9446. 911 Daycare, your 24/7 childcare solution.
911 Daycare is always there when you need them. Registration is going on now. Qui écoute, prends des vents. Pas di nou pas di ou. 911 Daycare la pou ka al travay à n'importe le ou jwen travay.
Rele rapide pour ka sécuriser place ou. Call 718-513-0411 or text 516-717-9446. 911 Daycare, your 24/7 childcare solution.
Hi, my name is Dolores Mura Etienne. I am the creator of Echoes of Freedom, Haiti's global legacy. This is not just a show or a podcast. This is a journey, a global journey, and to uncover the most unforgettable truth regarding Haiti's role and other people's independence, other countries' independence. Let's go.
In 1804, Haiti became the first black republic and the only nation born from a successful slave revolt. But Haiti's fight for freedom didn't end there. From sending ships and troops to aid Simon Bolivar's campaign in Latin America to casting the decisive UN vote that created Israel in 1947, Haiti has been a quiet force behind global independence. Even Polish soldiers who joined Haiti's revolution were honored as brothers in the fight for freedom. Echoes of Freedom is a powerful documentary, podcast, and video series uncovering Haiti's untold role in shaping the world's fight for sovereignty. The truth is global, and it started in Haiti.
And we're back. Hey, y'all.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are back. Mr. Toussaint, what do you have for us now?
All right. Well, the next story, once again, this one is more emotional. It just says, empathy is ruining my life.
Empathy is ruining my life.
That
Okay.
definitely paints a picture. All right. Well, let's see what this sender has to say. I am a 19-year-old guy. Oh, shorter one this time. I am a 19-year-old guy, and I am extremely empathetic to the point where it depresses me that people in this world are suffering sometimes for no reason. True. And there is a lot of suffering going on in the world these days. I have a great life and I live in a great country, but I am always upset that other people suffer for no reason, whether it be an illness, country in war, being ugly, or unlucky. I wish everyone could live happily and there be no bad things. Is it distracting me from living my life and making me depressed? What do I do?
Oh my gosh.
Wow. That
Who's sending you these who's sending you these letters? Oh my gosh.
being ugly is crazy.
Oh my, so hold on a second. So for people like me with low IQs, explain what empathy means. What does it mean to be empathetic?
Okay.
What does empathy mean?
Bas-
Ça veut dire.
Empathy basically is the idea that you're able to understand how somebody else is feeling without necessarily having gone through what they're going through. Like, for example, let's say somebody tells me that Pascal, oh no, fell down the stairs yesterday.
So you feel for me.
Yes.
You feel for me.
I'm so sad for
So
you.
this person feels
Are you
for people.
okay?
This person feels for people so much that it's destroying his life, according to him.
Exactly. He's miserable. Everything's falling apart. He's depressed all the time. This actually does remind me of another story I saw where, and y'all, it's getting a little dark. This was, I think, before the 2024 presidential election, before Joe Biden had even dropped out of the race. This guy, I think on Reddit or some website like that, posted this whole letter basically saying that he was going to kill himself because he couldn't stand living in a world where he knew that no matter what he did, his tax dollars were in any case being sent to Israel or to any country to fund genocide and to whatever, and that no matter what candidate he picked, money was still going to end up being sent to those places. So in the end, he ended up just killing himself.
Wow.
Yeah, because he couldn't stand it. And I think the problem with being an empathetic person to the point where you literally cannot function knowing that you're part of a society that in some way like advocates or follows through on this like message of like participating in harming other countries no matter where you are, or even just knowing that there's injustices happening around the world, because there's injustices no matter where you look. You have to be able to, there's a difference between having empathy and having pity,
Ah,
where
okay.
you
Yeah.
can tell that this person, you can see the difference because of where he says something like, where he starts with people dying in wars across countries and then goes into being ugly, where it's like those are two very completely different things on two completely different scales
But I
of
guess anything
importance.
to the extreme is bad. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
if you're
of course.
empathetic to the extreme, this what that
Yeah,
can't be
like
good.
what you said, anything to the
Anything to the
extreme is
extreme
bad.
is bad.
You have to be able to be empathetic and have empathy while also being able to separate yourself from situations that you don't have control over.
But what suggestions, what advice do you have for somebody who finds themselves, they're so empathetic, they feel for everything and every, I mean, I'm feeling for roaches that I just stepped on. You know, what's your advice to somebody like that, where they get to the point where it's destroying their lives? And this guy, what, he killed himself?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, in
Well, he
order
or
to not get to that point, honestly, I'd say you have to be able to take a step back and really think about yourself, your life, and your own situation. There are things that we can do in order to help better ourselves and help better our society. You can always, if you're worried about war and violence, you can always get jobs in civil service, you know,
Mm.
whatever, wherever you may be, whatever country you may live in, you can try to get involved in local politics. You could even just try to better yourself, like through simple things. Either way, knowing that you are leaving a positive impact on an incruel world can help grant you at least a little peace of mind. Yeah.
Wow.
Even then, just again, as I was saying before, being able to separate yourself from a situation that you know you don't have control over. If you're constantly thinking all the time about people on the other side of the world that you've never met, will never meet, and frankly can't do anything immediately with your own two hands to help, of course you're going to be depressed and miserable all the time, because no matter what you do, someone somewhere in the world will always be suffering.
So do you think it's like a control thing? Is it like a control
Yeah,
thing?
it very well could
Like
be.
if you know, some people, they don't
Yeah,
feel good if they're not in control, or if they don't feel that they're in control
exactly.
of whatever it is, whether it be
Mhm.
empathy or whether it be a myriad of other, you know, emotions that human beings can have.
Yeah.
Um,
And
how,
again, like we were saying earlier, excess of anything is never good. There's even some study that came out or something that like drinking too much water could kill you.
yeah. Oh no, the excess of
Like
anything. Yeah,
anything.
I was about
And
to say
again,
that. Yeah, there was a woman who I think she went to a radio station. They had a contest on who could drink the most water,
oh my
and
God,
she
yeah.
drank the most water. She passed away.
Oh my God,
Yeah, she passed away.
it's
She
horrible.
passed away. That's
I
terrible.
need to
Absolutely
laugh.
terrible.
It's
From
not,
water.
it's not funny, guys.
It's not funny, but
But
too much of anything is not a good thing.
no,
Yeah.
definitely not.
Wow.
But yeah, too much empathy, not too good.
Wow.
All right, moving on to our second commercial break.
Second commercial break. Let's go to the second commercial
All
break. Is it
right.
time for the second
Seems like-
commercial break?
Is it time for the second
I
commercial
believe
break?
it is time for the second commercial break.
It is time for the second commercial
Let me-
break, guys.
Let me find the second commercial, damn it.
Where's the commercial?
What the commercial now? Miss me, I'm up here looking for the commercial. Okay, we're going to the second commercial break. We'll be right
And
back.
there we go.
Excusez-moi, moi j'ai quelques documents importants moi t'ai mettre traduit là. M'a marché longtemps, m'pas ka joindre aucun côté. Est-ce que vous pouvez aider s'il vous plaît?
Pas paniquer. Si spawn monte descend, allez dans l'adresse de Door Services qui est dans 1814 Nostran Avenue dans Ledo Haiti, dans la coupe Brooklyn.
Door Services? Vous voulez dire m'y a qu'à traduire documents yo pour moi?
Dans Door Services, yo spécialisé dans traduction tout type de documents, acte de décès, extrait d'archives, acte de mariage, acte de divorce, baptistère, acte de naissance, rivé dans relevé de notes. Dans n'importe langue yo yéa, dans n'importe state ou yéa, n'a traduit pour dans n'importe langue ou vléa.
Même si Haïti, Chili, Brésil, California?
Yes. Même sous Haïti, Chili, Brésil, Californie, Saint-Domingue, ou à email li, n'a fait pour, ensuite n'a mail li tourner ba ou. Et puis n'a notarisé pour capable servir dans n'importe pays où y est pour n'importe dossier légal.
So dim là, bon courir dans Door Services pour me faire traduire tout document moi yo.
Ou pas besoin courir, ou capable voir document sur internet, al dans doorservices.com et puis cliquez sur ce bouton vert qui marqué Free Translation Code là ou bien relais dans 718 758 50 05 ou bien 50 06 pour plus d'informations.
Ou dim al dans doorservices.com et cliquez sur ce bouton vert là?
Oui, ce bouton vert qui marqué Free Translation Code là.
Merci en pile, oui.
Pour tout type de document dans n'importe langue, pas inquiéto. Allant doorservices.com ou soit relais-nous dans 718 758 50 05 ou bien 50 06. Pas oublier, al sous doorservices.com.
And we're back.
We are back. Hello, Mr. Toussaint.
Hi, Pascal. All right. Once again, as you just said, my name is Christopher Toussaint. This is Talk to Me. And on to the next one. So the next story we have is this one is more family focused, which is good because, again,
Because we need some family focused stuff.
yes,
We need some family.
my specialty, hopefully, in a few years when I get my marriage and family license,
good
will
for you.
be with families.
Good for you.
So
Good for you.
hopefully that will be what my specialty is. So
Very
let's see if
nice.
this is up my alley.
Very nice.
My mom invited my sister's boyfriend on our family vacation, and I feel completely disrespected. Okay, so let's get some context. This is a longer one, y'all, so strap in a little.
I'm sorry.
It's a little, all right. We'll see.
Ooh, okay.
All right.
All right.
I'm really frustrated and I'd love some outside perspective. My sister is 20 years old, has officially been dating her boyfriend, who's 21, for about 4 months, though they were talking, quote unquote, for about a year before that. A year for talking is crazy, but okay. Just say you're friends. Like, sorry. I overheard my mom once mention to my sister that maybe he could come on our family vacation. But there was no discussion about it with me, who's 22, or the rest of the family. The next thing I heard anything about it, they had already invited him and he had accepted. No one asked how I felt, even though my mom knows I'm not a fan of him and that I'm not super comfortable with him being there. In fact, the first time I had even heard them mention this idea and I asked about it, she said they were only thinking about it. Red flags already, but it already felt disrespectful that I wasn't included in the decision, but what really gets me is the double standard I've been dealing with. Okay, that's where I should move
Okay.
immediately, because if you saw earlier, the person who sent this is 22, and their sister is 20.
Oh, so they're like almost kind of the same age,
Yeah,
close to the same age.
but they're still the older sibling. And in a
Yeah.
lot of cultures, I don't know what race or ethnicity this person is, but in a lot of ethnic cultures and ethnic households, and to be honest, even white households,
The older sibling gets the say.
exactly.
Ah,
Not even that the older sibling gets the say, but the older sibling gets all the responsibility
right. And
and
feel,
the
yeah.
least freedom.
I could see that. I could see that. Anyway, I want to hear the end of this.
Right? My sister and her boyfriend frequently come home around 4 a.m. What are you doing until 4 a.m.?
Come on.
That's
I
crazy.
used to come home at 4 a.m. I used to
No,
come home at 4 a.m.
absolutely
What's wrong
not.
with that? I can shoot.
Three max. Anyways,
Please. I come home at 4 a.m. now. Okay,
absolutely not.
when I was 20, yeah, I think I've
Absolutely
come
not.
home at 4 a.m. a couple times.
I'm 23 years old. If I'm going anywhere that I'm gonna come home at 4 a.m. for, I might as well just stay where I'm going
You know
because
why? You know
that door's
why?
gonna be locked, chain
You
on
know
the door.
you know why?
Go ahead.
Parce que ou c'est bon ti moun.
Mm.
You're a good child. Où sont-ils les anges?
Anyways, back to this. They come home at 4 a.m. Crazy. When this started, my mom grounded her once, but now she barely even gets why were you out so late? And that's it. No consequences, no real concern anymore. Meanwhile, my mom once sat me down and told me that me staying out too late with a guy friend was quote unquote disrespectful.
Oh, so these are two sisters.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yup.
oh,
And that's where the double standard comes in.
the plot
Mhm.
thickens.
I stopped hanging out late, and honestly, I grew apart from friends because of it.
Hmm.
All right.
Hmm.
Now I'm sitting here feeling like I followed the rules, made sacrifices, respected my mom's wishes, and I'm the one being left out and ignored. My sister broke all those same expectations, and she gets to bring her boyfriend on our family trip like it's no big deal. It feels like I'm being punished for being the respectful one, and she's being rewarded for doing whatever she wants. I want to talk to my mom about this, but I already know she's going to say I'm being over dramatic or tell me what else can I do. I already tried grounding her, but I'm not asking her to fix my sister. I just want to be seen and respected, and right now I feel like I don't matter. I don't understand why it was such a difficult option for them to simply not invite him. To me, a family trip is for family and lifelong friends. Has anybody else gone through this? What would you do if you were me?
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Honestly, y'all, yeah. So let me tell y'all something about sibling dynamics.
Tell us something about sibling
Yeah.
dynamics.
Almost every household with two or more kids ends up like this because parents cannot give one child all the attention and expect both of their kids to end up all right. It's just going to happen. There is no perfect way to raise a
So
kid.
there's always going to be some kind of jealousy in the
Exactly.
wings and stuff like that.
Even
Okay.
if there's not,
Yeah.
let me tell y'all something. The biggest indicator for the way that your kids are going to turn out, in my opinion, is the way that they are raised.
Aha.
9 times out of 10, when you hear the expression, the apple doesn't fall too far
Far
from
from
the
the
tree,
tree.
it's because the way that the parents are raised influences the way that they raise their kids, which influences the way that their kids in turn raise their own
Yeah,
kids.
it's a repeating cycle.
That is called oh my god, what's the term? I'm blanking. There's a term for it.
It'll come
It'll
back
come
to you.
back to
It'll
me.
come back to you.
Yeah. But anyways, what we're seeing here is clearly an issue of this older sibling lived by the rules. They got scolded whenever they did something wrong, and so they buckled down. They said, okay, I'm not going to do that. Whatever, whatever, whatever. I'm going to make sure to please my parents. Meanwhile, this younger sister is seeing that. And as I'm seeing right now, there is no way she's already saying that doing this she's made sacrifices, she's lost friends, she's made her life a lot less fun because she's not coming back at 4 a.m. anymore, just to please her mother. But at the end of the day, once again, no matter how close that apple falls to the tree, you are not the tree. You are the apple. You are not your mother. And no matter how much you want to please her, it's not going to make you happy.
But at that age, you see it like that. And this is also a young people problem.
Yeah,
This is a
absolutely.
young people
This
problem.
person's 22. I'm
She's
23.
trying to please her mom and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Her younger sister is getting away with everything. Her younger sister, and of course, kids test their parents.
Of course.
So her younger sister tested the parents and basically got away with what she wanted to do.
Because at the end of the day, it was a non-issue to begin with. Getting home late, as long as they know who you're with.
Yeah.
What's the big issue?
When you started reading this, I'm like, okay, so asking her permission for the sister's boyfriend to come along on a vacation.
Exactly.
I'm like, who is you?
Exactly. Like, it has nothing to do with it. Well, I don't like him. Okay.
Then just you
Then
stay
just don't
home.
talk to him. Exactly.
Don't come on the vacation with us.
Not even don't come on the vacation. Just don't talk to him.
Oh,
and I mean, like, yeah, it would have been considerate of them to ask somebody, like, again, if they've only been dating for 4 months, even if they've been friends for a year before that, if this is somebody who your sister knows you don't like this man, why the fact that she even is talking about bringing him to begin with without talking to you is a little like, okay, she should have at least talked to me about
Should have, but she didn't.
But yeah, exactly, she didn't.
She didn't.
That's not a big deal. We get over that.
Yeah.
That tells me that the problem is not about the sister at all.
Then what's the problem?
The problem is you. the problem
is that it's the older sister.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that I agree with.
Her realizing this is her breaking point.
Yeah.
This is her realizing that all of the things that her sister and her sister's boyfriend have been getting away with consistently are actual non-issues, and they're things that she's been wasting her time stressing over. Meanwhile, her mother doesn't care.
So she sent you this letter. She's probably watching this right now. What do you tell her?
Girl, you need to think about yourself. You need to stop thinking about your sister and your sister's boyfriend and think about you. Go out and stay out until 4 a.m. Go meet up with that dude that you went out with before and say, hey, I want to be friends again. Sorry, I was wilding back then, but now I'm good.
So you would tell her, your advice to her would be test your parents?
Yes,
test your
because
parents.
obviously she's seeing that these other kids are getting away with it.
They're getting away with it, so test your parents.
How about this? Your sister stays out all the time until 4 a.m. You go out one night with your friends, call up those friends that you haven't spoken to in a while, call them up, and go out and drink to your heart's content and come in at 4 a.m.
And you know what? Now that you mention that, and she probably doesn't get yelled at by the parents anymore because she tested the parents. The parents realize they can't do anything about it. In Creole, you résigné, they resign themselves to accept what this other daughter is doing. So the oldest daughter, she needs to get with the program.
Exactly. Clearly, it's not an issue for her parents. Otherwise, the sister would have been in a lot more trouble. And if you get in trouble for it, or she starts giving you a headache, then you need to point back to your sister and say, okay, why is it a problem when I do it, but it's not a problem when my sister does it with her boyfriend, where we don't know what they're doing with this person that you know that she is romantically attracted to. She's with a boy out until 4 a.m. and you're not questioning her actions. Yeah, I'm with my friends telling you what I'm doing, where I'm going, and it's a problem. Yeah, we need to clock that.
Family dynamics.
Exactly.
Family dynamics. Wow, that's a very interesting. That's an interesting letter. That's an interesting letter.
Even thinking about it like this, a lot of times parents tend to set very strict expectations of what they want for their children, right? Their parents expect them to be raised a certain way. They expect them to act a certain way. They expect them to do things according to the ways that their parents raised them to be. And a lot of times, children don't meet those expectations because they're children.
Right. And they're going to do what they want to do.
And most likely what ends up happening, again, is that the older siblings try really hard to fit into this perspective of what the parents want, and the younger siblings see the older siblings trying so hard and doing whatever, and they think, well, I see how miserable my sister is. I see how miserable my brother is. I see how miserable my sibling is, and I don't want that. So I'm going to do what makes me happy. They can focus on pleasing mom and dad. That's not my job.
And I'm going to do my thing.
Exactly.
Y'all can do what y'all want to do.
Exactly.
I'm going to do what I want to do. Nebulim.
Exactly. And I think once again, I think that everybody in this world would be a whole lot happier if they just did what they wanted to do.
Don't people say that? Do you?
Truly do you. Do
Do
you.
you?
If you spend your life living for somebody else,
Yeah.
then when are you going to live for you?
Yeah. Even if it's your parents.
Exactly. Your
Even if
parents,
it's your
your
parents.
parents, despite the fact that they're your parents, are still someone else.
Yeah.
And you do not live to make your parents happy. You live to make you happy.
Yeah. You have to focus on yourself.
Exactly. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Wow. I hope I hope she's looking at this and I hope she's taking this advice.
I hope she gets a margarita and is laying on a beach.
There you go. Go to the beach. Get your
Exactly.
boyfriend, go to the beach.
Exactly. Go to the beach. Do something.
Dude.
Do something fun. Buy yourself something nice.
Exactly. Oh, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Is it time for our
It is time for the last break.
last break?
We will
guys?
go to the last break and we will be right back after this final break. You got more juice for us, right? After the break?
Yeah, absolutely.
See you on the other side.
What's going on, party people in a place to be? This is Pascal Antoine here. And for those who know me well, you know that I've always been like a media person. Ever since I was 12 years old, I begged my parents for a camera. When they finally got it for me, I just fell in love. And ever since then, I've been just a media guy. I want to introduce you to Do Door Vibe. I've been lucky enough to have been given the position as the station director. Do Door Vibe is it's an online radio station where not only do we play very interesting music and we have interesting programs, but we're also a full-fledged media company. So if you need anything done, we'll be able to do it for you. We have a dedicated staff that they know what they're doing. And even myself, I've been doing this for a very long time. So for any of your media needs, I invite you to check out Do Door Vibe. If you're looking for media production, advertising and promotion, digital design, event and mobile services, just contact Do Door Vibe. We're here for you for all of your media services needs.
Chaque samedi 10h midi branché Diaspora Dédoublé. Diaspora Dédoublé, yon émission kap ede ou konen tout sa kap pase en Haïti ak nan diaspora. Diaspora Dédoublé, yon plusieurs segments tan kou kote nou ye jounen jodi a. Journal semaine nan, invité dans tout domaine. Coin business, débat, analyse, synthèse ak konen histoire. Rendez-vous à casser chaque samedi 10h midi branché Diaspora Dédoublé avec Madame Dodo. Yon show nou pa gen droit rater. Diaspora Dédoublé sous toute plateforme yo. Facebook Live, YouTube, podcast, WhatsApp, un pilote encore.
N'a songe, travail la terre, c'est chimé pour pays nous grandir.
And we're back with Mr. Christopher Toussaint. Christopher Toussaint.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Talk to Me. All right, for this last story, I've actually read this one a little bit ahead of time. Yeah, it's a bit of a doozy. It just says, "What do I do?" And
What do I do?
oh y'all, let me just say, trigger warning for abuse,
Oh,
because y'all, this one, But I think there's a lot that we can get into here. So without further ado, let's start.
What should I do?
Hi, I'm 16 and I dislike being touched. Like, I hate it. My dad knows that I hate being touched and pokes and hits me playfully and says I'm being dramatic whenever I ask him to stop. I don't know why I hate it so much, I just do. I get uncomfortable when people touch me and I don't like how it feels to be touched. Today, he broke his phone, so he started messing with me by poking me and making comments on my weight. I am a girl, by the way, and I am a big girl. I asked him to stop, and he continued to do so. I moved farther away from him. He threw a fit, yelling at me, saying he wasn't going to help me with anything anymore, and how he feels like I'm purposefully outcasting him and pushing him away. I started crying and it made him even more mad. He said I have no right to cry when I was acting like a brat. And he told me if he didn't talk to me, then I shouldn't talk to him, and he left the room. I genuinely don't know what I did wrong. He just made me so uncomfortable and I don't know what to do. Last night, I woke up to shouting. My dad was yelling at my mom saying I don't do anything and how he wants to send me away, Job Corps. He was also shouting about how she didn't help him at all in the house, and next thing I know, he's breaking stuff. I was scared to leave my room, but when he left for work and I walked around, there was a small hole in the door and wall damage. He told my mom if she started to cry, he would break more stuff, and we can't afford that since we're already trying to move. She left me home alone to go through all the electronics and delete texts from my friends, family, and any social media because when he gets home, he'll most likely go through everything. I'm home alone right now and scared because he gets home at 2 and my mom at 8, so I'll either have to deal with him till she gets home. I'm scared he'll break more things or worse, hit me, which he's done before. Last night he was yelling and calling me an asshole for never doing anything and being uncomfortable around him, stating that it's not his job to make me comfortable and that I need to stop acting like a child. So I guess what I'm asking for is, am I an asshole for not liking being around him?
Ooh, this is deep.
Girl, you're being abused.
This is deep.
You're not an asshole.
This is
you're
deep.
Being abused. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on there.
A lot.
I mean, she started talking about the touching and stuff like, and and I could understand that there's some people, touch is a very personal thing.
Exactly.
And I know for a fact, like with myself, there's some people, if they touch me, I love it. And another person could touch me exactly the same way.
Like, nope.
Get away from me.
Exactly.
Get away from me.
And
that's how my brain works.
Exactly.
I mean, it happens sometimes. But here and then with everything else going on, and it sounds like the father is the father, right? The father?
Absolutely.
It sounds like the father
as hell.
presses her button too, knows that.
And he does it purposely.
And he does it on purpose.
Exactly.
This is complicated.
Oh, yeah. First of all, just starting with the touching.
Yeah.
Already to me, what reason does a 16-year-old have to not like physical touch and to not like physical touch for as long as she has? Well, she's kind of saying that this is like
she doesn't like physical touch, but she's really specifying that she doesn't like physical touch from that individual.
Exactly. But the way she says it at the beginning, she's like, I don't like being touched. I hate it. I don't like how it feels when people touch me. So this is telling me it's on more than just her father.
Yeah.
And with these types of situations, again, as somebody who studied psychology and the human condition in undergrad, I'm inclined to think that this has to do with some unrelated trauma.
I'm sure there's something else behind this. When you hear this, there's something else.
And with her being so young, most likely she experienced some sort of severe trauma from before she was old enough to remember it.
Now, you did mention in that letter, didn't she mention that she's a big gal?
Yes.
She mentioned she's a big gal. She's a big girl.
Exactly.
So I don't know. Could that have something to do with
Absolutely.
her body image or
It
something and being
could
touched?
be absolutely. And again, first of all, body weight. If she's already saying that she's a big gal,
A big
and
gal.
usually the thing that comes with being a bigger person and being overweight is a lot of self-esteem issues,
Okay.
where you're constantly being barraged and bombarded with images on social media
Yeah.
of girls who are tiny
Girls who
and
look like my
skinny.
pinky, like this.
Exactly. You could eat a speck of dust and diffuse through a cell
Yeah.
wall. Like tiny.
Wow.
And seeing all of that and then being a bigger person, it's like, oh, well, why don't I look like that? Am I supposed to look like that? And it creates an inferiority complex. So already that puts in your head that, and especially, and again, in this sort of era where a lot of people are very touchy,
Yeah.
very
Very
romantic,
feely,
very
very touchy
sensual,
feely.
very whatever,
How old
whatever,
did she say?
whatever.
How old did she say she was?
16 years old.
She's young. She's a
Yeah,
baby.
that's what exactly.
Oh, she's a baby. Oh my
And
gosh.
it creates an inferiority complex of almost like maybe I don't deserve to be touched. I don't want people to touch me because I don't like the way I look, because I don't like the way that I feel. When you feel bad, it translates externally in these ways.
But her father's a bum too.
Exactly.
Her
Oh
father's a
yeah.
bum.
Now
Her
let's get
father's a
into the
bum.
mother because
He's a bum.
oh girl, yeah, he needs to go. Because it's clear that it's not even just like her that's in an abusive situation, because he's abusing the mother too. Like he's screaming.
Oh wait,
he's
what do you
throwing
say
things.
about the boy? Okay, yeah. What was that all
He
about?
says that he's the only person that ever does anything, and that the
Oh, okay.
mom isn't helpful, and
Oh,
that
okay, yeah.
he's
No, he's a
yelling,
bum.
he's screaming at the mom,
He's a
he's
bum.
throwing things. Exactly, he's a bum. Um, and the thing about this is that all of these things that he's doing, they're manipulation tactics. Anytime anybody starts to even slightly call him out on his behavior, well, you guys are the problem, and why are you guys making things hard for me? And it's actually your fault that things are going bad, and it's not my fault because I'm perfect. He was poking and prodding her, knowing that she doesn't like to be touched. And when she said moves, she didn't even yell at him, she didn't confront him, she simply moved away from him. And already it was, why are you moving away from me? Why are you uncomfortable?
Could there be a little narcissism on his side of
Absolutely.
the table? Okay.
Absolutely. And I'd say with him going from joking and poking her to throwing and screaming and smashing things, there could even be mood swings that could be indicative of a personality disorder. And again, I don't have a license, but I have a little bit of training. So, just a little bit. So, take everything with a grain of salt.
I think
Yeah.
that one of the issues with this young girl is at that age, when you're going through something like this and you're in your parents' home, you're kind of trapped. You're young. You're
There's
not,
only
you're
so
young. You don't have money. You can't just move out. And you definitely, possibly feel trapped. So I'm
Exactly.
assuming that there's probably some of that going on in her head also.
Exactly.
Oh, so many things.
Especially because they were saying, the dad is the one that's going to work, even though the mom also goes to work, I'm assuming. And a lot of times, parents in abusive situations tend to kind of keep their head down, because it's easier for them to stay in a situation and lie to themselves and say, well, I need to stay because of my child, rather than make the very, very difficult decision that is to pack up and leave. So I would say, again, you could try to call child protective services, things like that, the police, but it's going to be very difficult to escape that kind of
So
situation.
you're saying that she should call that?
Yes, she could,
She
but
could,
the
yeah.
problem would be that it would be very difficult to get actual tangible results if her mother is not on board.
Because it doesn't sound like and also doing okay if her mother's not on board, obviously, but also did it sound to you like there was any physical? It was physical touching, but any
She
physical?
said at the end that her father has hit her
Oh,
before.
okay, he has hit her. Okay,
Yes, but also
Okay.
things like, again, the touching and then saying, "Oh well, you're the problem."
Yeah.
First of all, is an abusive
Now you
tactic.
did mention a couple of minutes ago that you're not licensed.
Oh yes,
You're not
no,
licensed,
I'm
but
not.
you're like a relationship coach, kind of, sort of, right?
To a certain
Is that a
extent,
good
yeah.
kind of title? Yeah.
Absolutely.
You could probably help me with my relationships. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to talk to honey. I'm trying to talk to shorty. She ain't talking to me, and you could probably help me out with it.
I
Anyway,
try my
but
best.
wow.
But I
Yeah.
want to touch on one more
Yeah.
thing
Sure.
near the end of her letter, in which she said, where was it? That she needs to delete all her social media because he'll go through her things.
Oh
That
wow.
is
Oh my
also
gosh.
another very, very common tactic by
Yeah.
manipulators, because what the goal is to isolate you from the
Right.
people who want to see you succeed
Right.
and isolate you from the people who can help you
Ooh,
get out of those things. When you are, again, she is 16 years old, when you are in a situation where you have to delete all your messages
yeah.
and wipe all your contacts and make sure that like your abuser doesn't know that you have these support systems, or even you have to isolate people yourself from your friends and your other family in general.
Hmm.
These are very, very common early warning signs that this person is trying to make themselves their only source of protection for you. A lot of
Right.
times
And
they're
in this case, it's like really blurry because it's her father.
exactly,
It's her father. So yeah,
exactly.
yeah. As
He's
my father,
isolating
I'm supposed to protect you. I'm supposed to,
exactly.
but then when does protection
Exactly.
become abuse?
And this is actually something that we talk about a lot in psychology courses for anybody going into psych as a major. Um, Something you'll study is attachment styles, where there's different types of attachment that form between a child and their parent, depending on the way they're raised when they're in infancy. And one of those being an insecure, unstable attachment is where the person who is supposed to be your guardian, your protector, the person that you turn to when you need help, is the thing or is the person that is the source of trouble and trauma and
Mm,
abusing you. It creates almost this sort of dynamic where you're dependent on the hand that feeds you, but also that hand is the same one that is
like
hurting
that's
you.
abusing you. That's a
Exactly.
hard situation.
It
I've
is
seen
very, very
people
hard.
in that situation, and it's one of those things where it's hard to understand unless you've been in a situation like that.
Exactly.
Also, people ask, "Oh, he's hitting you. He's doing this. Why do you go back to him?" Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes it happens.
Hmm.
It happens, and
Because again,
you feel,
they
you know,
condition you into
yeah.
thinking that you have no other choice.
Wow.
Which is why it is so, so, so important that when
Mm-mm.
you see people in these types of situations, whether it be a partner that somebody is spending a lot of time with and you're not sure how healthy their relationship is, or again, a parent or an uncle or a relative. And again, once again, let me say that a lot of times with abusers, a lot of studies show that abusers tend to be people that you know and people that you trust, especially when I say sexual assault.
Hmm.
Most cases of sexual assault, at least in the United States, or I believe in general, are committed by people that the
People you know,
person knows.
people you
Exactly.
know, people in your
Mhm.
family, close friends,
Exactly.
people you're acquainted with. Yeah, sure.
So it's very, very important to call out that kind of behavior when you
Hmm.
see it, because you want to instill doubt and you want to let that person know that
Hmm.
you are a resource that they can turn to when they feel that this person is treating them in a way that they don't deserve to be
Yeah.
treated.
Um, Monsieur Toussaint,
Yes.
remind people how they can get in touch with you, how they can get in touch
Yes.
with you how they can send messages to this show.
Yes. If you want to send a story, any story, whether it be fun, funny, serious, if you just need somewhere to shout and yell, you can send a letter to talktomevibe@gmail.com.
talktomevibe@gmail.com,
And
right here
I
on Go Door
promise
Vibe.
we
Yes.
will try to get to everybody's letters.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
This has been great.
Yes, it's
This has
very
been
fun,
great.
very eye-opening.
All right. So the next show will be next week.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to be waiting for the show next week. And in the meantime, you guys could send your letters to
Mhm.
talktomevibe@gmail.com. And Monsieur Christopher Toussaint will be more than happy to respond and give you the advice that only he knows how to give.
Yes, I shall.
Thank you very much, sir.
First.